You guys, let's toast to Sweetgrass.
Chin chin.
I gotta say, I want to make a toast to you guys. I had the honor of being with you guys pretty early in this project, and this is kind of the end of the project.
Yeah.
And holy shit, I didn't expect this necessarily. I didn't really think about it, but here we are. Congrats, you guys work your asses off. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers, boys. Delicious. I love that blackberry whiskey.
Yeah,
Suntory.
that hint of blackberry.
It's always
really.
Suntory time.
Shit. It's fantastic, and we love them.
Always Suntory time.
So, speaking of that time long ago when I was hanging out with you guys in Nelson, I'm curious, like when you guys first conceived this project, did you expect it to be what the final film looked like, or how did it evolve into something different? How did that happen?
I would say that like it always changes, but I think that like the core like idea of what we wanted to convey has never strayed. Like it was always like we wanted to convey an idea of freedom and an idea of wildness. And I think that like from the very start to like through the film and what people get out of it and to this night of like us getting naked on stage, like we absolutely like had to embody this idea of like being wild and being free, and it was amazing. I mean, that feeling of just having to like think about what it means to be free. I think the whole next year for us and the whole next 2 years and the whole rest of our life will be colored by working on Valhalla. So I think, lots of things change and lots of little details change. And I think that like our script has evolved throughout the film, but ultimately it's, a picture of freedom and a picture of being wild. And it absolutely told that story.
Totally. I think that one of the things that stands out, of course, is the creativity. And, we did that behind the scenes. You guys did the behind the scenes thing. And it shows like Mike Brown, like bringing in snow to the Mount Baker Forest in the summer. Like how much of what you guys do is just you guys work your fucking asses off, and how much is like the creativity? Like how do you manage that, like these really ambitious ideas with, logistics, reality?
I would say that it's probably one and the same thing, really. We have a lot of ambitious ideas, but we are also a small team. And like ultimately what it comes down to is just running with those things that are unknowns and pretty crazy and possibly could completely fail and blow up in your face. Literally with like fireworks in many cases, which did happen. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, we're a small team and we just pushed and pushed and pushed and went through a lot of absurd situations to make it happen. And we just have countless stories of going up against the odds with like minimal resources and no sleep, nakedness, everything else. So yeah.
The best things in life, really. Yeah, Ben.
I just had a minor thing to add to that. I think like it's for me, and I think for like I would like to speak for all of us. I think it's like a battle within yourself, because nobody else is doing like a lot of the stupid things that we're doing, and we're doing a lot of stupid things, like lighting off fireworks in like skiers' faces. They don't like that. Skiing in the middle of the forest, skiing with skiers naked, like all of these things are, they're very uncomfortable things. And, and basically we were put in this position of like, how can we create the most unique, interesting segments? And how can we create the most, riveting scenes? And that made us uncomfortable, and it made us do things that we didn't want to do. And it made us like, at a certain point, like there was no one else doing these things. And we're like, okay, like how weird can we get? Can we get weirder than like what we expect of ourselves? Like, and we became like kind of, I think, our own like personal competition. We were like, all right, how many skiers can you guys get naked? Like, I got like 2 the other day. Like, let's try to get some more, and like it's competing against yourselves. And I think that's like a really interesting kind of thing that evolves out of the evolution of skiing, is like what can, competing against yourself, like what can you create and what can you do, and moving that forward is kind of what became Valhalla. I think ultimately was like competing against ourselves to try to do something that we'd never done.
Yeah, I would add to that and just say that The same idea is basically, I feel honored to have had 2 years to basically dive into a project where you get to live it, you know, and as much work as it was, and as much struggle as it was, and as much challenge as it was, I think that like Ben said, like really diving into like, how can I get weirder? How can I get wilder? How can I feel this more is like a pretty cool thing to like have as like your daily objective. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
How do you guys get people outside of the project to like realize that that idea of yours? Like, how did you pay them in Molson's to like take their clothes off, or like are just Canadians naturally into that?
I mean, Molson's, man, we're a psychedelic movie. We're talking about we're talking about how many ate of mushrooms. Not. Sorry, Mom. No, I mean, like, honestly, like, I think, like, people were, like, really attracted to our project because they, like, felt that it was really different. They felt there was, like, something new, you know, like, kind of on the outskirts of skiing, and they were like, whoa, what is this? And, like, you know, everyone we talked to they were instantly like, okay, like, we want to help out with, you know, we want to, like, do this, and we want to, like, you know, kind of further this experience because we, like, trust in your vision. And, like, even when we did not trust in our own vision, which was often, like, like everyone else did, and, like, that's what made the film happen, is, like, you know, the fact that everyone trusted in us and everyone believed that we could do this. And like, that's really gratifying, honestly, like, because, you know, even when we didn't really think that we could do it, like, it was kind of the faith of people like Cody and, like, you know, Sierra and all those people that made the film happen. Because without them, like, and without their, like, resilience, and, like, you know, they put up with so much bullshit, like, as far as we didn't really know what was going on a lot of the time, and but they pretended to know what was going on, and they believed in it, and that created our belief, and that created the film. And it was, in that respect, it's a very beautiful thing, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say what stands out to me is the cinematography, which I know you guys work so hard to achieve, and then the writing, the storyline, of course, is this completely unique and ambitious project. But you guys also have more talented skiers than you guys have had in previous projects. So getting those guys to buy into this vision obviously created this very special project. Like, how did you get, like, guys like, you have Kai and Hoji killing pillow lines, like, and Peps in your film. And not only are they skiing these amazing lines, but they're also naked with you guys. Like, how do you, I'm just wondering, like, how do you get those guys to commit necessarily?
Well, I think that, like, every skier wants what every human wants, which is to feel free and to feel like they're having a good time. They don't want to feel like they're, like, sitting in front of a camera and they're making a ski movie. They want to feel like they're doing something new and something fresh. And I think that that's, like, ultimately, like, why a lot of our athletes gravitated towards us, because they're like, okay, these guys are, like, A, doing something weird and wild, and B, they're, like, working really hard to get there. And I think, yeah, I mean, I was blown away. I mean, I think all of us, have, like, probably growing up had posters of, like, most of the athletes that we got to film with this year on our like, childhood walls. So, and, you know, filming with these guys and having them hang out, and you're like, at first you're like, oh, you know, you're really like a little boy inside when you meet these guys, and ultimately, like, when they become your friends, you know, I'm like, you're, like, texting these guys as the night's going on here, and it's quite cool to, like, have these amazing skiers who, like, are really passionate about skiing grab onto something that is really different from, like, the stories that have been told in the past through skiing.
And many years of harassment.
That also helps. Well, congrats, guys. I think that, like, when I am showing a non-skier or even a skier, like, why I love skiing and why I love skiing powder, I'm going to show them Valhalla. It's a beautiful achievement. You guys won the movie of the year.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Powder Magazine, because, you know, you guys have supported it since a pretty early time, and that's, you know, another childhood dream. So
I got to ask what, thank you, Nick,
no,
but what,
I mean it. Like, that's pretty rad.
where do you guys go from here? What's next? Can we expect something else? You guys already talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've spent 2 years making this project, and we put a lot of ourselves into it, and basically shut off our own lives and poured our souls into this project. And we're going to take a little bit of time. We're going to do a little bit of bus time, living in the bus in the wilderness, and kind of like refine. Yeah. We're going to spend a little bit of time to refine the next like inspiration, the next project, and then, you know, as soon as that clicks in, I think we're all going to be really excited to pursue that next vision. So it'll be a bit of a surprise as far as what it is, but I'm sure it'll happen.
Surprise us too.
Awesome. Congrats, guys. Movie of the year. Cheers.